In this video, I'm going to talk about a really dumb bar for relationship success. And then I'm going to offer a tweak. Instead, do this type of thing, all right? So a lot of people, we all know the marriage rates are about 50% here in the United States, right? That probably fluctuates up or down. Are more people getting divorced? Are more people staying married? And the way people look at this statistic is really interesting. They think 50% of the people who don't get a divorce, that kind of equates to success. The 50% who get a divorce, somehow that's failure. I really don't like the interpretation of these stats. I think it's really narrow and naive. So what I mean is, years ago I did this talk called Shattering the Marriage Fantasy in 5 minutes. You can check it out right here on YouTube. It's a 5-minute video. And in that video, I basically say, look, just because you stay married, that does not mean it's successful. It doesn't mean you're fulfilled. It doesn't mean it's a securely attached relationship. It doesn't mean it's a strong, indestructible partnership. It just means you stay married. So that's a really low bar. That's pretty weak. It feels kind of like a wet blanket or something. So staying married and not getting a divorce ain't success in my world, all right? That's like keeping a job. Well, I got a job. Well, that's not successful. It's like, is your job fulfilling? Are you met there? Does your boss treat you with dignity and respect? Do you feel valued? Are you increasingly getting paid more and more over time? Do you have good benefits? Do you feel like it's aligned with your vision in life for your heart and soul? You know, staying married is weak. And anybody can stay married. You just have to bite your tongue and grit your teeth and grin and bear it and like hope it doesn't get worse. People who stay married tend to have a lot of resentments and they sort of compartmentalize their pain. They have a mound of conflict they've never dealt with, but they're staying married for the kids, let's say, because they don't want to make things worse for their children. So like, hey, you know what? I only got 5-10 more years till the kids are out of the house. I think I'm just going to suck it up and stay married. Now, if you honestly believe that staying married, staying in kind of a dead marriage is good for your health and your soul, and it's actually the smartest thing you can do, and you're calculating this and you've spent many hours on it, you've gone to therapy or coaching on it, you've really read and studied on it, and you feel like, you know what, I'm just going to suck it up. It's 5 more years. I can do it. Then that's at least you're consciously choosing staying married. That's okay. I still don't think you're going to be fulfilled, right? And you're prolonging and procrastinating your own fulfillment. But hey, who am I to judge? I just want you to be fulfilled. I really do. And I have a belief here that if you bring who you are, your truth, that's the way to get a fulfilling relationship. And if the other person doesn't want it, fuck them. Like, you shouldn't probably be with them. And the sooner you stand up for your needs and what you're worth and your value in a relationship, the sooner you get that in return. The more you say, 5 more years, you're just saying, I don't deserve this for 5 more years, 10 more years, right? So let me offer a reframe. So instead of going for staying married is somehow some really weak success bar, let's raise the bar a little bit, but not be into fantasy land, right? Fantasy land is a bar that's way too high. It's like, I meet the knight in shining armor, or I meet the one, and everything just magically works out, all right? And then we never fight, and all goes well, and we live happily ever after. I think you and I know that's bullshit. Okay, that's a fairy tale. It's childish, magical thinking. So we've got to have a bar, though, right? Staying married's too low. The one that's perfect in everything is too high, because no one can ever live up to that. So let's bring it down a notch, but let's bring it up from staying married. So the new bar, all right, is a good enough partner. Now let me unpack what that means. A good enough partner just means they have issues and they're kind of a mess. After the honeymoon phase, of course. After you fall in love with them, and it's 2 years later, and the stakes get higher because you join finances and mortgage and, kids and dogs and the whole thing. And you're like, oh shit, this person's difficult. Yeah, you're difficult. They're difficult. Goes both ways. So the more you guys can understand this, all right, the more you're going to set yourself up for success in the long term. And success, remember, doesn't mean staying together. It just means we both get to be who we are. Our voices are welcome. It's a frame I call standing for we or standing for three. I stand for myself, I stand for you, and I stand for we, the relationship. That's success. Like, we have each other's backs. I've done a number of videos here on what a successful marriage or partnership looks like. Go check those out. But let's go for good enough. And good enough is not meant to be condescending or pejorative to your husband or wife or spouse or whatever. It's just saying, look, we all have issues. We're all hard. We're all a pain in the ass. We're all difficult sometimes. So I think it's just, you're going to have more fulfillment and enjoyment in the relationship long term if you keep a realistic bar of, I'm going to marry someone who's good enough and awesome because I'm good enough. And together we have a good enough marriage that's working towards fulfillment and mutual satisfaction and respect over time. Okay? Try that out. Leave a comment if this resonates or not. You can leave a comment if you're like, what? What are you talking about? That's too low of a bar or whatever. And we'll see you in the next video. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. That helps me help more people. All right. Thanks.